Hello there everyone and welcome to this new video. So today we are going to talk about the newly announced, the new DualShock the DualSense controller from PlayStation. This was just announced like only yesterday, newly announced. It took us by surprise, actually, so it was out of nowhere, and I actually thought that they are going to mainly stick with the design from the DualShock 4, like something very similar to it, and I think, and as you can see, it's not the case here. So there are some differences, some significant differences from the last generation. So we'll talk about these in this little preview. According to what we have, like we have three different high resolution pictures, as you can see here, and we have the article from the PlayStation blog talking about this controller. But I think we'll go as much in depth as possible with it, and to naturally compare it with the other stuff, with the other controllers from the other consoles, or with the Sony controller itself, with the last one and the current one, which is the DualShock 4. So first things first is the name. Like the DualShock name was the normal household name, like for all generations of the PlayStation and the last generation as well. So it has always been the DualShock 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think Sony wanted something new by this announcement, and also didn't want to stray too far from the DS name. So it's still a DS controller, but it's not the DualShock controller anymore. It's the DualSense, and so it's still called. It will be called the DS5. But why this DualSense? Why this name change? It's because they are saying that they have made this name change to emphasize how much they have changed and added to the controller in regards to this touch feel, which is another like jargon or name or PR name or PR description for haptic feedback. So they have added an haptic feedback engine, complete haptic feedback engine. I think that by the description in the article that it will involve the analog sticks, the movement buttons, maybe all the buttons, we are not sure. It's supposed to be in the analog sticks and the triggers, that's for sure. So you will feel different resistance, and maybe also different vibrations, and so according to what you play, depending on what you play, and or also what you are experiencing in game. So you can have the same game and you are playing the same game, but you will feel different sensations or haptic feedbacks in this game. Like it's dependent on which level you are, or what type of like boss you are facing, or what you are doing in this game, or such. So an example was like if you are doing like a racing game and you are stuck in mud or something, or you have a part of the road that's covered with mud, so you will feel this tire resistance. That was an example that was provided by Sony yesterday about this. So you'll feel this type of resistance because of the mud, and etc. So I think this is something good, and maybe it will be something similar to what we are already having with the Nintendo Switch. The Switch controllers have this haptic feedback engine, and for me it's nice. It's nice to have. I don't think it's a gimmick, but I don't think it's something that's oh my god, what an improvement or something, because it wasn't implemented until now. It wasn't implemented very good in the Switch. like the majority of the games don't even support it. I think almost all of the third party games on the Nintendo Switch don't have it, and even the official Nintendo games, like only a few of them have a real haptic feedback mechanism, and it's mainly with the casual games, like not the hardcore stuff. Maybe only Zelda has it, like Breath of the Wild, and maybe Mario Odyssey has it, and yeah, a few other games, but that was it. And it's nice to have, as I said. I don't think it's a gimmick, but should be implemented like in a wider manner, and with almost all the games. But something also that's a developer thing, like the developers are not supporting it that much, and I fear it will have the same fate here with the new PlayStation 5 controller. Like many developers will opt out, like to not even support it. So yeah, that's it for the haptic feedback. So now we go to the button layout. I will use this cursor here to talk about the button layout. So as you can see, like the distribution of the buttons is almost the exact same as the last on the current generation, the DualShock 4. So we have here the normal usual PlayStation buttons on the right, the analog buttons, the analog sticks here in the center, and you can also see the other movement buttons here. You also have this pause button here, and this button Sony is calling it now the create button, but it will do something similar to the share button that we already have with the PlayStation 4, but they are calling it the create button. And they say that it will have many more features than the current share button, and they will announce these features as we get near the launch date. So more details are incoming about this particular button. As you can see here, there are some changes also with the touch area that was and the DualShock 4. I think it will also be something similar to the DualShock 4, like it's only slightly changed here, and it's more curved now. I think it will have the same functionality, and it will be used maybe heavily with the PlayStation VR games, and maybe they will add also some features to it, more features to it, but it's not a touch screen as rumored, like the previous rumors before this announcement. Many rumors have said that this will be a touch screen here, but it's not more the case. Like it's not more touch screen. As you can see here, the official design. This is not a touch screen. There's no screen. This will be the touch area. So as for before, but maybe they will add some more functionality to it. As with the haptic feedback thing, this touch area in the DualShock 4 wasn't utilized or used heavily by the developers. Some publishers have not used it at all in their games, so it was also not very well supported, and many people are only as a gimmick, not something that they are too fond of. And but it's staying, as we can see, it's staying. So the light bar is moving to this new area, so it's no more here. As you can see, it's no more in the old area. It's now moving to this area. So this is a good thing, I think, and it adds something beautiful. It's more beautiful now, and I like the new area, and it's more subtle as well. And I think it will also help with the battery life. So I think this is a very good move by Sony to make it here instead of this whole area. So regarding the cable connection, it's the same one, like it's on the back. It remains on the back of the controller, and we have the Sony logo on the underside of it. So here it remains on the back of the controller. In the previous design, it was the Sony logo above, and it was below, and it seems like it's USB-C, so no more mini USB or micro USB. I think it was micro USB, sorry. Which is a good thing. And yeah, going back to the main photo, we have here something new, like this built-in mic and a mute button. So we have a built-in mic here, this built-in mic and the mute button, and this is something new, and Sony has said that it will be helpful, that's something that will make all the players and all the gamers that will buy PlayStation 5 make them mic capable, so they will all be able to speak when they want to speak through a mic, and they see that as an important step, and I'm okay with that, but the problem is the implementation. So including a mic in this area, I think we'll have some major problems with the click sounds. Like they are supposed to be clicky, right? Like even pressing the analog stick like R3 and L3 and pressing these other buttons, I think this will translate to these click sounds, and this will be really annoying to hear, like on the other side, like to hear all these click sounds. They are saying that they don't recommend using it all the time, so you only use it when you need to, and like you need to communicate something important to the other players or to whatever, and you mute it through this button. So they recommend using a headset or headphones with a mic if you are into like team speech and speaking and mics and such, and only use this when necessary. But I have some major concerns about this, about these clicky sounds and such when a mic is on the controller itself. We also have the loudspeaker, or it's not loud, so a speaker grille here, like in the previous design, so there's no difference at all. It's the same. We also have the exact same place for the PlayStation logo as for before. Regarding the whole design, as you can see, it looks more of an Xbox controller now. We must be honest here, and that's a good thing. I think that the Xbox controller, the Xbox One controller, is the best controller available, and I always prefer it whenever I have an opportunity to play a game with it. I always choose it and prefer it over the others, and I think that the actual DualShock 4 controller is the weakest of them all. So I think that the Xbox controller comes first. Like the quality, the analog sticks, everything is better designed. The weight distribution, the comfort is very well designed controller, and it's the best out of them. And I think that actually the Nintendo Switch Pro controller comes second for me, at least, and then comes the DualShock 4 controller. So I think that this design making it look much more similar to the Xbox One controller and has the same contours and same angles is okay by me. We need that as PlayStation players. We need that as well. So it's not something that's not. I'm okay with imitation. Like they if it improves the overall experience, then why not? It's still a PlayStation controller. It has these iconic buttons, but they are without colors now, as you can see. So we have no more the iconic colors for them. It's now colorless, or only with these gray things. So yeah, I think this will help tremendously with the comfort, this new design. They all look alike right now, as you can see. So the Pro controller from the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox One controller, and then also the very similar Xbox Series X controller, and this controller, they all look the same now. not like before. There were significant differences between them. Now they all look almost too similar, and I think that's also a sign of maturity from all the manufacturers, that they have they are reaching a design that's working so well for the players and so comfortable for the players. So that's okay by me. It's not a big problem. This controller will come as with the PlayStation 4 controller with a rechargeable battery, and that's also a good thing, and I think it will last longer with this new light bar design. So it's a rechargeable controller. There are no like batteries and such like the Xbox controller. Sony says it will weigh less as well. I think that we have covered everything there's to cover about this controller, especially with the information that we have. So yeah, this is another angle. I don't see major differences like with the triggers in comparison with the original one. So they look honestly almost exactly like the original, but I think and I see like the L1 and the R1 buttons are bigger in the new one. So I think they are bigger, and I suppose they will be much better, as Sony is saying. They will be much better feel and such. And maybe I think also like the L2 and the R2 button will be also bigger in comparison with the DualShock controller that I am right now looking at, but I'm not sure. But it's definitely bigger and different for the L1 and the R1 button. So yeah, guys, that's it for the new DualSense controller for the PlayStation 5. I think that that means a console reveal, like a complete PlayStation 5 reveal, where will we see the design of it and everything about it is not too far now. Like Sony has always played this game of showing the controller first and talking about it and such, like the infamous Boomerang controller for the PlayStation 3 that was cancelled because of the backlash that was received, and then it's always a matter of weeks or maybe a month or so where we have the full console reveal. So it's always controller by Sony, controller reveal, then a few weeks later comes the console reveal. So I think that PlayStation 5 full reveal is not something that's far off from now. So yeah, we'll stay tuned for that as well. Thank you very much for watching. Catch up with you in the next one. Bye bye.